Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webcast in our monthly series. Today, we're going to be focusing on payment acceptance in order-to-cash processing. Think about some of the common challenges that you face within your organization around payments. A lot of companies want to make sure that they've got convenient payment options for customers, whether that be on their ERP system directly for collections calls, whether that be online, a customer self-service type solution within a call center, mobile applications for maybe service agents that are out or sales agents that are out locally with customers. You want to make sure that payments can be done easily and conveniently. A lot of ERP systems out there have payment deficiencies, quite frankly. Either the solution just isn't there to be able to take payments maybe as part of collections, maybe the integration out to the processor or the banks that you use, that integration points, maybe they aren't there. Many systems have deficiencies when it comes to security around electronic payments and the data security around that. So that's a big challenge companies face. What about limited payment options and scalability? If you were to go through an acquisition or a new product launch and you wanted to add payment options and grow rapidly, would you be able to do that on your common system or on your existing system with the technology you have? Costs in accepting payments is obviously something that companies have to manage. There is a cost associated with processing, whether it be electronic payments, check payments, any form of payment has a cost associated with it. And companies always want to make sure that they're balancing those costs and making sure that it's a proportionate amount to your cost of sale. PCI compliance guidelines. And if you're not familiar with the term PCI, it stands for Payment Card Industry. It is all of the guidelines around the data security and accepting electronic payments for customers. Any company that is accepting electronic payments is mandated by this PCI Council to follow many rules around data security. So this is something that companies are spending a lot of time on within their data security environments to make sure that all of the data is secure when processing payments. These organizations, your data security and IT group, are probably always worrying about the risk of data breach and protecting information, not just with payments, but maybe also with other types of sensitive information that may be stored on systems such as social security numbers, bank account numbers, anything that can be personally identifiable. Companies are working harder to protect. So these are a lot of the challenges that companies are facing when thinking about the payments process in your order-to-cash environment. An order-to-cash doesn't necessarily mean just an ERP system anymore. It can mean many systems. It can be an e-commerce platform, a self-service electronic bill presentment and payment platform. It can mean kiosks, mobile devices, IVR type solutions, payments over the phone. So there's many different channels that are involved with the order to cash process that all have to be integrated. And this is where Paymetric comes in to work with companies. You can see here too, some of the data from Forrester that we've collected indicates that a majority of companies are looking at upgrading their platform technology solution within the next 18 months. In the B2B e-commerce space, one of the reasons is likely because of payments and challenges, and making sure that the challenges that I spoke about in the slide before this are being solved for, and that there are real-time and convenient payment processing options for customers, that everything is compliant with government regulations, that PCI compliance, managing internal costs, again, making sure that that cost of taking electronic payments is in balance with your cost of sale. And then greater visibility to payment status to customers. So these are some of the things that Forrester is indicating. If companies are not working to provide a seamless customer experience with a convenient and fast payment option, customers can be losing $2 million in sales. So there can be a loss in overall sales. So In the bigger picture, there are many implications of not having your systems that support your order to cash process in line with what customers are expecting as far as electronic payments. And then on top of that, making sure that you're securing that information from any potential data breach. So just a short video that I'm going to play for you about Paymetric and our solutions.
Every company wants to get paid, right? In a simple and timely fashion. The problem is that nothing's simple when you're a large enterprise dealing with transactions. You have to enter everything into your ERP system, and this can be a long, error-prone manual process. And it's got to tie into your CRM system. Add in one more factor, such as e-commerce, and everything starts to get really complicated really fast. There are solutions that can help, but most of them can't handle enterprise complexity. The more you try to scale this and the weight of all the costs, risks, and inefficiencies, the sooner it just breaks down. So we think it's time for a fresh approach. What you really need is a way to put your arms around the entire order to cash cycle and all the complexity that comes with it. That means fully integrating with any ERP system, whether SAP, Oracle, or even homegrown, and seamlessly integrating with your CRM system and your e-commerce platform, all while providing greater security and PCI compliance at lower costs. Not to mention accepting every alternative from PayPal and Apple Pay to solutions you've never even heard of that some customers want. And you've got to take global payments and do it all at scale and keep it all seamlessly interconnected. That's what we call smarter, faster, easier payments at the enterprise level. And that's what you get with Paymetric, the only payment solution built for enterprise complexity.
So I think that video is a great summary of a lot of the challenges that companies are facing and how they're tying it all together with all of the system platforms that they're working with in the order to cash processing space. So, as we mentioned, Paymetric really drives fully integrated payments from any channel, really. So again, your ERP system, your e-com platform, electronic bill presentment, any channel that you may have can flow through the same Paymetric hub for security, what we call tokenization that I'll talk to you a little bit more about, and then also processing of that payment. So our solution can help you accept one-time or recurring electronic payments natively within your applications. Subscription services is something that is definitely increasing with companies where they're allowing their products to be bought on a subscription basis. So this is something that is great for increasing revenue, and our systems actually allow you to do that. And on top of that, help you store securely the data that's required to process recurring payments. We also help you update those payments, payment card tokens that are on file, so it keeps the whole recurring electronic payment solution smooth and avoids any declines that you might have when you're in a subscription type cycle. Again, we support payment cards, credit cards, electronic check, which is very popular. Electronic check is, think of it as a one-time real-time ACH payment. So it uses a bank account and routing number to withdraw funds from a customer's bank account. However, it goes through the credit card processing networks. And there's a lot of alternative payments that are coming up. PayPal is popular, Apple Pay. More and more alternative payment methods are coming up that customers want to enable, particularly on their e-com platforms, and also in their ERP environments for customers. Again, all with the goal of making payments fast, easy, convenient. Accepting payments on the web. That brings up a whole host of other challenges for companies where you can be exposed to fraud and other things. When you are allowing payments from a web channel, again, the first thing Paymetric is going to do is secure the payment data that's being accepted. We also offer fraud scoring solutions. Now that the trend seems to be that fraud is moving into some of the e-commerce channels, We partner with several companies and have pre-integrated fraud scoring calls that can also be integrated into your e-commerce order-to-cash payment processing. So accepting payments on the web is something that is very, very common now. It adds that convenience that customers are looking for, and we work with many of our customers on enabling that process. Reporting. Talked a little bit about one of the challenges being some ERP deficiencies. A lot of ERP systems don't really have great native reporting around electronic payments. So anything you might want to use to manage different card types or different customer groups, different order types, statistics. We've got some native reporting, different queries that we've built that customers can use in a variety of different ways to manage the process internally. Following the lines of reporting, reconciliation, something that is very, very important within the finance organization from the order to cash process. How do you reconcile the cash that you are supposed to receive from your order to cash process? So we've got a fully integrated and automated settlement reconciliation process that basically does a three-way match of data across your system, our Paymetric gateway, and your banking processor to make sure that everything that is due in your electronic payment channels for a certain day or time frame has gone through correctly to your payment processor. Your payment processor has received it and has acknowledged that receipt. So we do a three-way match at a detail level, actually at a transaction level. And any transaction where there's a discrepancy, we highlight that. So we do it automatically. And that makes your settlement reconciliation fast. I mean, you can do it within minutes per day. Storing payment methods on accounts. This is something that a lot of companies don't necessarily want to do these days. Maybe they don't want to store this because of security requirements. With our secure tokenization process, you can store a token or a representative value for a payment card or a bank account on a customer account. That makes it easy for customers to use over and over again. They've got their payment method stored with you. They can pay very quickly. They don't have to run to go look up their payment again. So this is something that enhances that process and makes it convenient. And again, a token is the number one way that you can actually secure the data within your environment, and it's a representative value. And I am going to talk a little bit more about tokenization again, I believe on the next slide. Level 2 and Level 3 data. Level 2 and Level 3 data is additional data that companies can pass to their banking processor organizations that offer merchants lower interchange fees. And it can be as much as 1% that you can lower your interchange fees. And the thinking behind this is that when additional data is sent, like line item detail, purchase order number, this is all presented on a customer statement, and there is less of a chance of a customer calling in for chargeback because there's more data about what was bought and more detail. So again, it can qualify merchants, companies, for a reduction in interchange fees, and it can be a pretty significant reduction and a pretty significant savings for companies. So definitely encourage you to think about this, and if it's not something that your company has considered or is doing today, please definitely reach out so that we can do an analysis for you to see if there's monetary savings there. Tokenized connectivity to card updating and recovery services. When I was talking about the recurring and subscription type billing being more of a popular option these days with a lot of different products and services, I talked about updating a card updater service. So if you're storing customers' information and are using that on a monthly or quarterly basis, you want to make sure that you have the most up-to-date data from the customer. It's not uncommon for organizations to be sending out replacement cards multiple times a year. You yourselves probably receive replacement cards multiple times a year. Well, card updater services actually go and update these numbers where you are using that card for subscription type services. So we offer this service, and the advantage is that we keep the data fully tokenized in communication out to our processors that we work with for the card updater service, we receive the data back and update your systems accordingly. This helps to ensure that you don't have significant decline rates if there are new cards or if a card is marked as lost or stolen. So it's definitely a service that increases that convenience, reduces manual work in your order to cash process. Fraud scoring services, particularly important in the e-commerce space. We do have pre-integrated fraud calls to some of the largest fraud scoring providers out there. We do this in conjunction with an authorization call. So we will work with you to do a real-time authorization call and then send that data out for a fraud score. Based on that, you then design a process around what you want to do with that sales order based on the fraud score that you receive. And there's a whole bunch of other reports and information that you get along with fraud scoring services. So how does it work? Fundamentally, Paymetric is doing two key things within your order to cash process. And I'll start with over towards the left-hand side of the screen. The first thing that is always happening with the Paymetric solution, whether it be in your ERP platform, your e-commerce platform, a point of sale device, kiosk, anywhere where you're accepting a payment, the first thing Paymetric is going to do is secure that payment. And the way we do that is with the concept of tokenization. We have our own proprietary tokenization solution. We do not use a third party. With our tokenization solution, what happens is the raw payment data is actually intercepted by Paymetric. And we do that in a variety of different ways. It can be architected a little differently depending on which system we're doing that. But fundamentally what's happening is we are taking the raw payment card data before it even hits your system's environment. And that's what keeps your environment pristine. We take the raw card data, we store it in our token vault, we store it in our data vault, and we return a token to your system that can then be used for processing. That token is a representative value. It cannot be reverse engineered. It is a multi-use token, so as long as a customer is using that same payment method within your system, it is the same token that you will see. Typically, you'll also see maybe the last 4 digits of the card number, so it's usable. You'll know that it's a Visa card ending in 1111, so all of your reports or any communications you have with the customer, you have enough information to communicate effectively about that payment method. So once the token is in place and secure, then we follow through with the actual integration out to your processor. We are processor agnostic. We facilitate real-time authorization calls for payments and then also help process on the settlement side. So authorization is the process up front where funds are held in a transaction. And then typically after the product and service is delivered to the customer, you go through invoicing and a settlement process. At the time of settlement, we also are the gateway that provides a file out to your processor again, and that is the file that is used for funding. So that is the big picture architecture of how Paymetric works and operates in your environment. And again, it's from any channel you may have in your order to cash space. So just to summarize, and then I'm going to open the floor up for questions. Think of Paymetric as your single platform to unify and secure electronic payment acceptance. So again, payment acceptance of all electronic payment methods globally on one platform through to your preferred processor. As I mentioned, we are processor agnostic and can connect into all of the major processors. We integrate with any enterprise system, so whether it be SAP, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, a homegrown platform. We integrate with all of the major e-commerce platforms, whether it be Hybris or Salesforce Commerce. Any of the platforms that are out there, we utilize our technology to assist with that tokenization, securing of the data, and the processing of payments. We're going to lower your overall operational expenses because our solution is completely cloud-based. There's nothing to install in your environment. All of the changes and updates are pushed out to you, so it is a cloud-based environment. Because our solutions are PCI compliant, we can help reduce your PCI audit scope. And this is something that we frequently do. We are often speaking to members of data security teams within organizations about where they are currently with PCI compliances, the areas of weakness, and where our solutions help to improve those specific areas. Reducing your overall interchange fees with optimization. One of the big ways to do that was that level 2 and 3 data that we can pass upon settlement. Typically that is not standard standard processing that comes with an ERP platform. It's something that we extract that data in addition to what is provided. So that actually can be a huge cost savings for your organization. And if you're interested to find out more information on that, we can certainly do an analysis for you. We work across business-to-business and business-consumer transactions. So many companies have a mix. That's fine. All of these processes are the same, really, whether it's a B2B or B2C transaction. We've got some receivables management solutions that can offer you the ability to take more electronic payments at the time of collections without waiting for a customer to send a check after a collections call. So this can help reduce your DSO pretty significantly by being able to take a payment real time while you're on the phone with the customer. We've got those solutions built into accounts receivable functionality. Again, when you're implementing a solution like Paymetric with a new platform, an e-commerce or ERP platform, you don't have to build all the payments solutions or the integration to your bank. We have all that. So we can help you increase your speed of implementation and your time to market.